I am making this piece over here for the core support. I've already welded the seam down here. This was two pieces. I think I showed you some of that already. Welded that together. I'm in the process of making this tab that goes, let's see, that's backwards. It goes down here that welds on for the core support mount. What I wanted to show, I don't think I've showed yet, I made this tab here. The edges, I've got a disc sander, belt sander, combo, whatever you want to call it. So I just used that to round over these were square edges, except for that one what I cut, which I cut. I just use my grinder to round those edges, and then sometimes I'll stand it up and dress the other edge. Have to be careful because it'll suck down through, so that alleviates having to get the file out. I don't do this on everything I make, but most of the flat brackets I make, I will bring it over here and round the corners, just because that's the way I like to do. Another one of those things, you don't have to do it, but it's the way I like to do it, so that's how I do it. But I just wanted to show that. I did this tab over here the same way when I was making it. Move hose, you can't see it. That tab the same way. I just didn't think to show it. So I was making this one. Finishing this up, I thought, well, I think I'll go show that. So anyway, that's what we were doing. I am getting this piece welded up, or made and ready to weld up. So probably not going to show that. You see me welding and grinding. Well, I'll come back when I've got some more stuff to show. I have the last piece of the core support that goes over here, ready to weld in. And I got to prime it. So before I do, I'm going to go ahead and sand the bottom with the DA. I'm not sure if I did that before or not. I don't remember if I did. I usually try to remember to do that because this is 80 grit. It sands out a lot of those grinder marks. If I didn't do it over there, I should have. But anyway, I'm going to do it over here. So that's what I'm doing now. That's just to get out. That's just to get out. Just that's how you always do it. I got over there. This is to I'm kind of on inside. I think this here. Good camera. And some of these. It's also some of the easy. Sometimes I get straight. If you got to get straight, you can handle it. You can handle it. You can handle it. Everything I think everything you say. That's what I'm doing. Here's what I want to do. I'm sure I was saying the whole thing. I'll get around 2 rounds and probably block me. I'm just going to go forward with it. I'll talk about it doing. I'm not going to think about this spot. I think months to cure. So yeah, I'm sure I was saying the whole thing. I'm sure I'll get 2 rounds and think what I want to do. Also, you know, like saying that same last is what I'm trying to do. I got this piece finished. Put the tab on the bottom. Welded up. Ground down. There's a seam right here that you can't see, which is good. You can see it a little bit on the back side, maybe right there, but this is the side you're going to see. Welded the little tab on from the original piece. So once again, as I showed before, this is what I cut off of the core support. This is what I'm replacing it with. The only piece of original metal is, again, is this little tab right here that I cut off from here. So old and then entirely new fabbed up piece here. The core support mounting cup is ready to go. I also drilled one hole down in this corner for the weep hole, a drain hole. So when the antifreeze, water, whatever gets down in here, it'll run out. I had to drill up one, I had to weld up one rust hole right here. It's welded up. So that piece is ready to go. Get it primed. So basically my next step is to prime this and get it ready for welding. This course report is almost done. I'll be glad to get this finished and move on to something else. Anyway, that's it for now. Well, I'm back. Been away for a while. It's now early June. I haven't done much work in the shop here in the last few weeks. I've had a lot of things going on, working and just a lot of stuff. So I haven't really been out here a whole lot. So we are to the point now where I've got all the fabbing on the course report itself done. I've primed. I guess the light's kind of goofy for you, but I've primed. Hang on. I primed, all in here now. And the last section I was working on was here. The cups. The course support cups are installed, they're welded in, everything's welded in and primed. All primed back in here. The only thing I have not finished priming is the front edge out here. That'll be the last thing I prime. But as far as fabbing on the course support itself and welding and all that stuff, that's done. And that's a wonderful thing. So the last thing I have to fix, repair, do is these radiator support cups. Here, I think I showed them one a while back. This one here is the bad one. It's rusted through. So the other one's okay. And this again has been in the rust dog. This again has been in the electrolysis tank and then sandblasted a little bit. I'll sandblast it again before I actually prime it. So here I've made some marks. You can see where I'm going to cut out. So I'm going to make some progress on that, and when I get something worth showing, I'll be back. Alright, here's what I have. Here's the cut. I tacked a scrap piece across the ends here to hold the width, hold everything in place before I cut the bottom out, which is here. So I just went in here and cut the entire bottom out. This tab here, this is the tab that bends over 90 degrees. You can see it on this one, the other side. Come on, focus. The tab, anyway, it's not focusing, but you can see what I'm talking about. The other one, the one I'm working on, that little tab or tang is just about broke off. There's enough meat holding it on in so it doesn't completely fall out. So what I'm going to do, once I get the bottom side, let's get the bottom side of this welded in, I'm going to bend that back out where it goes and TIG it in place with the bead on the top and hope it doesn't fall out, burn out. Darn. Hope it doesn't fall out and burn out while I'm welding it. The piece I made here, I just took it and bent it over a socket that was about the right size. Laid it down flat, took a hammer and just rolled it over. I probably should have showed that, but I was not thinking about it. So basically it's just a round shape, nothing hard to do. And what I'll do, one-handed here, what I'll do is put this in here. Obviously get the bottom welded. The top's not perfect, so I'll get the bottom welded and then get the top to fit, cut this piece off, get the top to fit and finish welding it. But I'm going to TIG all this piece up. I could MIG it, of course, but being this is a small piece and it's really rusty along the edges, see, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do about this side here. If I'm going to cut it out, try to weld it up, I haven't decided yet. A lot of it depends on how the bottom goes. Anyway, I got a lot more control with the TIG. I want to try to make these welds, as small as possible, for lack of a right word. So I don't have to do so much grinding down inside here. If I MIG this, it's going to burn through and it's going to be blobs of weld all under here, and I don't want to have to deal with that if I don't have to. So I'm going to do my best to TIG it pretty clean. So that's what we're doing next, is trying to TIG this thing together. I'll do my best here to show what I'm doing. but it's probably not going to be all that great. Let's see how it goes. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. Obviously you can't see the actual welding process because it's welding. Well, we'll see what we can do. And I haven't figured this out in advance, so I'm just figuring this out as I go. So the struggles that I'm going to get this thing set up is in real time. I'm not, that's upside down. But that's a great place to weld. Man, that's perfect. If I could tack that on the inside, man, that's perfect right there. That is absolutely perfect. I want to weld from the bottom, but let me see if I can tack this right there, because man, that's in a perfect spot. Not sure if I showed you before welding. I'm using 16th, or I'm not sure if they call them 16th or 60,000, but basically 16th inch welding rods. When you get the welding rods down into small pieces, I weld them back together. I think I showed that one time before. So I mean, I don't think any of you are surprised if you can do that with a TIG, because you certainly can. But if you are surprised, yes, you absolutely can do it. Now, I haven't TIGged in a while, so I might be a tick rusty here. But anyway, make sure, yep, we're good. There you go, a little bit of heat. Use it right back together. Tricky part's not grabbing the hot weld, which I have done. I will admit. Now all I want to do is just tack this real line in here. Let me see what's going to happen. I'm still unsure about how this is going to go. Let me see what happens here. It's a tricky spot to get into. All I want to do is tack it because it's just so perfect. And not to tack it here is just a shame. I'm not burying the tip. It's just a tough spot to tack down in here. I got one. If I can get the other side. Actually, one might be enough. Now I can turn it over. Yeah. Because the magnet was screwing up the arc. You may not believe me, but it is true. Magnets and electricity, they're kissing cousins, more or less. Closely related. You get a magnet too close to an electric arc, whether it's MIG or TIG, it definitely will play with it, and not in a good way. I want to move that down a little bit, but it's not going to. It's fighting me, and I'm probably going to break it if I keep messing with it. Might have done it. Nope. Oh, Lord. I think it's actually tight against the side. That's why it won't move. Well, just go with it. Now I should be able to get a pretty decent tack because I'm out off the edge of that magnet. Hopefully. This is going to be a little bit, not wanting to cooperate the way I want. This is not working as great as I wanted it to. So what I'm going to do, I'm struggling here a little bit. It's not me, it's the rust and the galvanized and blah blah blah. I just burned the tip, which is annoying, but it happens. This is no. Alright, this is fixing to make me mad. Alright, I'll be back. This is in no way an instructional video on how to TIG weld. I can tell you that right now. For lots of reasons. I am no TIGging expert, that's for sure. Let me try to tack another tack or two before I get mad and cut the camera off. That was much better. Changing that tip. That tip must have already been fitted up, but I didn't see it. Let me get one more tack. Okay. Going better now, thankfully. So let me finish tacking this thing up. When I got some more interesting stuff to show, I'll be back. Okay, all in all, it's going okay. As cruddy as it looks, it would have been way worse if I had done it with a MIG. On the inside, I got my goal. I got penetration. This is also 16 gauge, the new metal, versus, golly, this was probably 18 at some point, and it's even less now that it was rusted through. I'm getting penetration without blobbing all the way through it, except for this piece, this end piece, which I knew was going to burn through, and it did. And then the tab started, come on, focus. The tab started messing up on me, and I knew it would. So I gotta I gotta really, that's gonna be tough to fix and finicky and tight. But anyway, I'm gonna grind this off. Go ahead and get the back shaped some more. Maybe work on this tab. I've also got to cut out this end and do it later. Anyway, I'll just keep moving forward with that. So I'll be back. All right, I got that ground down. Still haven't fixed this tab yet. That's going to be, well, it fell out. So now it's on the ground here somewhere, and I got to find it. Yay. Anyway, I got that ground down. I reshaped this end to fit better. So I'm going to go ahead and keep welding this up. And I got to find that tab and figure out how in the heck I'm going to put it back on there. I'd make one from weld bead, but I don't know, I'll see. I don't know where it's at. Wait a minute. That might be it. Well, I found it. I don't know how I found it, but I found it. All right, we'll tackle that later. Let's go ahead and finish welding this up. You notice I'm using this magnet as a welding stand or fixture or jig or whatever. These magnets work really well for that. I've mentioned them before. It's up a little higher than I'd like. It'll go. It should be turned around. But I tacked it. Okay. My glasses are what they call them. They're not transitions, they're whatever they are. So as you move your head up and down, the vision changes. Not bifocals, it's some kind of something. I don't remember what it's called now. I should, but I don't. If I don't get the sweet spot with my vision, I can't see, and it's really annoying. And stuff like this. Okay. Let's weld that on up. It's really tricky out here on this edge because this is the edge where it's rusted and a lot thinner. I probably should have used 18 for this centerpiece, but I had 16 the right length, the right width, and I just went ahead and used it. It does make welding together a bit tricky. I haven't TIGged in, I bet it's been 6 months, so it's taking me a few minutes to get my sea legs under me again. TIG welding. I forgot to let the gas cool the puddle for half of what I was doing up till just a moment ago. I just hit the tip again. I'll know here in a second when I strike this arc. Yeah, people that don't TIG won't understand. Those of you that do TIG weld will understand. My biggest problem TIG welding is still dipping the tip in the puddle. And it's not something I know better. And it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. I just don't have enough hours of practice. And plus, a lot of these places I'm in are cramped. And of course, I'm making excuses. It's just lack of experience. It really is. I don't do it as much as when I started TIG welding, but I still do it more than I'd like to admit. Let that cool. Now, well, actually looks pretty good. I believe I can go ahead and roll that down. That end over there is a little off, but nobody's gonna know it but me. Go ahead and put a tack on it. It'll be alright. We can go and weld that. Another thing about TIG welding that really gets on my nerves is this damn cord. Woo, it's part of it, but it sure does get annoying. You saw those sparks fluttering, that's trash in the weld from something. More than likely rust. Might have got some of it out. We'll see how it grinds out. If I can Fix it is the wrong word. Let's see how it grinds out. Okay, you've seen me weld and move and bend. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this thing up, and I'll be back. All right, here's another, I guess, what you could call a tip. See, where is it? That hole right there above my thumb. That's where you saw those sparks spit out from trashing the weld. Most likely it was from rust. Now it could have been just trash in general in there, but usually that's from rust. Anyhow, there's really no way to get that out. If I keep chasing that with a TIG, it's going to keep bubbling and puddling. There's something in there. So really the only way to get that out is to drill it out. What I do is take an 1/8 inch drill bit and just drill through it. Now that may seem crazy to you, if you know, that does, fine. But I'm telling you, if you keep chasing that, it's not, 99 times out of 100, it's not going to go away. The only real way to get rid of it is drill it out and then weld it up. Now again, this is not a structural piece, this is basically sheet metal. You know, on the structural piece, you wouldn't do that kind of stuff. It would be a no-no. But on this kind of stuff, sheet metal repairing and whatever, it's perfectly fine. Anyway, I just thought I'd show that. Alright, I got that done. Bottom piece was welded in, ground up, ground down. I still have not made this tab, fix this tab yet. I think I'm going to do it with weld bead, although I haven't decided. Still got to cut this side out, replace this. Still got to cut this edge out and replace that. Also, I don't think I've shown it yet. This is the other side of this, okay. What I'm going to do is take a bolt, 5/16 bolt, and ground the head off. Almost all the way. That's about like 60 thousandths. And what it'll do is sit down in here. What I'm going to do, come on one hand, is put it in here and weld it to the cup. What the factory had done, let me remember. Let's see, I can't remember what the factory was. I can't remember. It's been so long now. I can't remember if there was a bolt in there or not. I don't remember. There might have been a round head bolt. Anyway, I don't remember. I mean, you guys have still got one. Got these trucks. You know what they are. Anyway, what I'm going to do is weld a bolt in there. Because if I don't, yeah, I wish now I could remember what the factory was. I think there was a bolt stuck in here, stud. I just can't remember how it was attached. Anyway, I'm going to weld a bolt to it like that, and then it'll be sticking down through the core support and get bolted on. Actually, it wasn't a bolt, it was a rivet. That's right, it was riveted to the core support. Now I remember. Riveted and or welded to it. And that was a big rivet. Anyway, I'm going to put a bolt in mine, so if I ever had to take it out for some reason, I can. No real reason for it to be welded or even riveted. Use a bolt. So that's why I've ground the center down, so it'll fit up under the cup. This is the original cup. I bought some replacements that aren't exactly right. These are the originals. They had that relief in there, you know, to sit on top of the bolt head or rivet head, whatever it was from the factory. So it sits in it with that bolt head. Sits in there. It works down. It works out just fine. Just fine. So anyhow, I'm going to take some time and finish this up. I'm not going to show any more of it. So when we come back, more than likely all this will be done, and we'll probably be priming or doing something. But we are so close with this core support. There she sits temporarily. Not finished, of course, but that's something. All right. Another detail I want to show. Something like this. I cut the side out and welded in this new piece here. You can kind of tell from the inside. Get over here where you can see better. Actually, it's worse. You can kind of see from the inside. Something like this. Cut a tab like this oversized. In other words, too long. And then I marked it where I'm going to come back and cut it. I'm still cutting it a little bit long. It's hard to see here. Then I'll come back and dress it up. And yes, I'm using a file. If you can tell, I have filed these edges down so they're not so rough and rotten from the grinder. Not rotten, rough and kind of ragged from the grinder. So they're nice and smooth. Then I'll come back and dress this up same way after I cut it. So I just wanted to show that. Okay, if you can see this, I was able to weld that tab back on. Come on, focus. There's the tab that broke off. I was able to weld it back on. You can see inside. Hang on. I tigged it from the top side. You can see there's a little bubble there from trash. Nothing I can really do about that. Very minimal grinding to get the top of this flush. But there's the tab. Come on, focus. I'll dress this up with the grinder and get it flat. But there we go. I'm going to weld up one little side here after I get it ground down and dressed up. But that's situations like that are a perfect case for that TIG where you have pretty much infinite control over the heat. You know, work the pedal hot, cold, however you need it. With a MIG, that would have been a disaster. I'd have never done that. Not like this. I'd have had to make a weld blob and grind it down and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I was able to get that back on. Anyway, we'll keep making progress. Okay, here we are, almost to the end. I got my radiator cup sandblasted. Welded the bolt in there to secure it with. Got the tab fixed. Sandblasted, all ready to prime. This is the one I put the patches in, the pieces in. Both ends, the bottom. I welded the tab back on. Still a little bit thin on the rust right here, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's not going to hurt a thing. I've already tested the radiator if it's fine. So we're going to get those primed. I got a little bit of priming to do on the front of the core support where I did some welding and scuffed up. So I'm going to prime this, prime the radiator pads, and this core support is done as far as the sheet metal work goes. Still got to paint it one day, but that's going to be, Lord knows when that's going to be. So I'll come back and give you one final view when I get it all done. Okay, here we are. Core support's done. All welded up, all primed. It's not in correct place, it's just sitting here. Let me get it, zoom in a little bit. All primed up, all rust is repaired. I think you can see pretty good. Like I said, I don't have it sitting where it, well, it's almost sitting where it goes, not quite. I just got it sitting here so you can kind of see. Let me get it inside. Interested to see a little bit closer. Hang on. Okay, here it is inside. The light's still not that great in here. Well, it is. You just can't tell with the camera. But like I said, it's all primed up. Bottom. Let's see, passenger side. This is the side I completely replaced. All this replaced over to here. Kept this piece, replaced the entire middle. This whole bottom section down here is new. This is new. This piece in here is new. The cups are reused. And then I replaced, I don't even remember, part of this. Wow, I don't remember. I have to go back and watch a video on that myself. Definitely replaced it. I'm into here. I kept this. This is new down here. So anyway, that's it. It's done. Ready to move on to the next thing. I think what I'm going to do next is work on the doors. Well, I gotta finish welding the cowl up that I started a long time ago. I got the inner cab piece that I made that's sitting here somewhere, or I'd show it. I got to put the doors back together still. I still got the doors over here cut apart where I fixed the door skins, which obviously wasn't, I didn't do that back when I was videoing. They have brand new door bottoms. Plus I had to show these doors had a lot of work. So I've still got to weld the skins back on, get the doors hung, get them fitted, get the gaps, all that good stuff. Of course, I'm still working on my Ford, which I don't know how many of you guys are Ford guys or how many of you are Chevrolet guys. That's my F100 chassis. But here's the core support. It's all done, and we'll be on to the next thing. So those of you that have been following along, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for looking in, and I'll catch you on the next one.